Hello, and welcome back to the Anatomy of a Great Website, Part 3. Today, we are going to talk about how to create an effective website structure. So, an effective website structure is really important so that search engines can find your website and rank it in the top search results. You might not know what I mean by website structure. It's something that people who are new to website building don't really know much about. Some of it's intuitive, but it's really good to learn about it so that you can understand how to create an effective structure and make sure that you're not making mistakes that make it difficult for search engines and your potential customers, clients to navigate your website. So, what is a website structure? It is a site structure or the information architecture, the way the content is organized on your website. It should be user friendly. It should have a logical hierarchy. Your website pages should relate to each other, and the site structure will help determine how this happens. A great site structure will ensure that your clients can easily navigate your website. It'll also help search engines index and rank your content. And this helps you show up at the top of the search results, which means ultimately more of your favorite clients coming your way. So in the site structure, what is included is the navigation, the homepage, the main categories or sections, the subcategories or sections, your individual pages, the structure of your URLs, the links internally, the footer of your website, the search functionality, and the 404 error page. The goal of an effective site structure is to make it easy for users to navigate and find information, create a logical hierarchy that flows naturally from broad categories to specific details, optimize your website for search engines by organizing content for the SEO best practices, enhance the overall user experience, encouraging longer visits and increased engagement. A well thought out site structure not only benefits users, but also contributes to a website visibility and ranking in search engine results, ultimately helping achieve the website's goals, whether they involve informing, selling, or engaging visitors. The way I like to think about an effective site structure is if you remember back in high school when you were writing compositions and you created outlines in order to make sure that your composition flowed well and was easy to read and made sense. It's kind of the same situation for creating your site structure. It's making sure that everything's very logical and easy to follow. And this also helps with the accessibility of your website. Some people are using screen readers. People have, vision issues, and screen readers will make sure that they use a logical hierarchy of throughout your pages and in the pages themselves. So you want to make sure that that's something that you're doing to make sure that people who do have limited visibility can also navigate your website. Okay, how to create an effective site structure. So the first one we talked about already is defining your goals. So you want to start by defining the primary goals of your website. That would be something like book online, give me a call, text me, learn more, buy something from the store. Just knowing what you want your visitors to do. And then also understanding your audience. This is something we've also talked about, and I do have more videos on understanding your target audience or defining your target audience, but really getting down to what's their journey on your website and what's going to make the most sense to have at the top of the page versus further down if they decide that they want to read more. Understanding this can help you make sure that you organize the content of your website accordingly. Creating a sitemap. So develop a sitemap, which is basically a hierarchical outline of your website pages and their relationships. And you would want to start with the information being in broad categories and kind of narrowing down into more specifics. And then use clear navigation menus. So make it easy and very intuitive for people to find what they're looking for. And I'll show you an example here of a website architecture or sitemap. So very simple and straightforward, thinking about your home page being the top page, and then what are the main pages that you'll have usually in the main navigation, and then will there be any sub pages going down from there? And you would want to do the same thing for the way that the information is laid out on each page. So you can see how website architecture in this article from SEMrush, which is a great resource for anything search engine related. The reason that this is so important for SEO is it helps search engines find and index all your site pages. It makes your website have more authority, and it helps visitors find the content that they're looking for. And I'll show you an example of my own website, which is the Business of Massage, massagebusinesshelp.com. And you can see here that I have, the main navigation, the home page is linked here with my logo, which is very common, but we have a common layout. So I kept it pretty straightforward. Home, get help. We have kind of the main pages across here, and then I have some sub pages coming off of those. And then within my website, there's a lot of interlinks. So you can see that this button here links to this page here. So that's another thing that web search engines like to see, is that interlinking. So I'm making sure I have a logical layout here throughout my pages. We have a main topic, and then we have some subtopics here. Okay, footer has all my navigation items. Also a thing that search engines like to see. And then another thing that is a little bit more difficult to see without looking at the back end is the way that I have the text arranged. So if you've ever built a website, you'll know that there's things like the H1, the header one, and that is going to, you only really want to have one H1 on a page. So that's going to be, the Business of Massage is my header one. And then everything coming after it would be, say, like H2. And basically that would tell screen readers, this is where you start on the page, and H2 comes under that. And then maybe I'd have H2 here, and this would be H3. And maybe we have another H2 and H3. So it just sort of tells you each section what the hierarchical layout is. Okay. So you want to prioritize user experience. So what I mean by that is the most important of all of those things that I listed is that your users that are coming to your website have the best experience and easiest experience possible. So using clear headings, using labels, drop-down menus, all of that kind of thing is going to be a great way to make it easy for people to navigate your website. Organizing content, making sure that you group related content together, that you're linking related content like I showed you before. And for instance, like having a services section and all of your services listed there. I know it's very intuitive to do it that way, but it might be something that you can just go back and review your website now if you already have one, or as you're building it out, thinking about, is this content organized in a way that makes sense for people? Another important piece of this is making sure that your website's optimized for mobile. I would say probably like 50% or more of the users that you have on your website will be coming from a mobile device or a tablet. So it's really important that your website works well on mobile devices and that the structure also makes sense for mobile devices. And of course, making sure that you create an engaging homepage. Not everyone will land on your homepage first when they come to your website, but most people will. And so your homepage should really provide like a clear overview of what your website is about. It should be easy for people to find what they're looking for from your homepage and to get to other pages that they might want to explore from your homepage. So think of it as like a general overview of your website. You can kind of have a little mini sections that kind of go over what the rest of your website will be about. And it can link to the sections or the pages that make sense, where they can do a deeper dive on topics. Okay, using a logical URL structure. So what I mean by that is like massagebusinesshelp.com. That's my URL. You want to make sure that you have a logical structure, as in the URL itself tells you what the page is about. So for instance, it could be massagebusinesshelp.com/business coaching services if the page is my business coaching services. I showed you this before, but making sure you have internal linking so that you are telling search engines when pages are related to each other. You can create a link on one page to another page. For instance, if on your homepage you're doing an overview of your services, you could link to your services page where people could learn more about your services. Using consistent naming conventions on how you label sections and pages. This will help not only screen readers and search engines, but your users understand your website structure better and be able to really very quickly tell what it is that you're showing them in that section. Optimize your website for SEO, something we'll be talking more about later, but I do have other videos here on my YouTube channel about this already if you'd like to learn more, or you can visit my website as well. Incorporating relevant keywords, for instance, massage, your city state, deep tissue massage, your city state, ashiatsu massage, so on and so forth. Incorporating these keywords into your page titles, headings, all of your content. We'll talk more about content soon. Making sure that your content is properly structured, which is where I was talking about that hierarchy, which we will dive more into when we get to the content section. It will make it much easier for search engines to be able to take a quick crawl of your site and know whether or not it's the right thing to serve up to someone searching for the keywords in your area. Okay, creating a custom 404 error page that helps lost visitors find their way back to relevant content. This is something that's a little bit more advanced, but also you can do a quick Google search to see, if you have a Squarespace site, how do I create a 404 error page? If you have a WordPress site, how do I create a 404 error page in WordPress? And then you can find out how to do that. Otherwise, it'll just be a standard 404 error page that may or may not get people back to where they wanted to go. So just keep that in mind. Creating a custom 404 error page can make it easier for your clients to navigate if they've accidentally entered on a page that doesn't exist. Testing your site structure. So before you launch your website, make sure you test your site structure by navigating through it as if you are the end user or if you are your ideal client. Maybe getting some friends or colleagues or even clients to go through it and see if it's easy for them to use, getting some feedback, really real life feedback from people, and make sure that there's no pages that are either you thought you created and made live that aren't, so that they might not exist or they're broken, or that don't do what you want them to do ultimately. And finally, make sure you regularly update and maintain your site. So as your website grows, you should periodically review and update it to make sure that the new content makes sense, that it's in the right place, that it's easy to find, and that it is staying up to date with what users are looking for. Okay, creating a great website structure requires thoughtful planning and ongoing maintenance. Prioritizing user experience, clear organization, and SEO optimization will help ensure that your website does serve its purpose effectively. It is much easier than you would think. And again, you can always take a look at my website and kind of navigate through. Another website that I really love to show massage therapists is Cocoon Massage, owned by Emily Ammon here in Portland. I think hers is a really awesome example of a website that has just a really simple, straightforward structure. Very easy to navigate, it has sub-pages. The information is organized very well. So this is cocoonpdx.com. It's a good site that you can use as an example of how to create a great site structure. Okay. And I'll be showing you more information on this that will hopefully tie it all together. But what I would start with is if you haven't built your website yet, go ahead and work on creating a site structure. Just draw it out how you want your website to sort of flow and how you want the pages to interact with each other. And then maybe also kind of outline the homepage and how the information will flow together there. And then from there, you can go ahead and start building. If you've already built your website, then I would just go through and take a good look at it yourself and make sure that, everything's making sense, everything's working together. It's really easy for people to find what they might be looking for and update anything that's not working well. You can also use tools like SEMrush or Ubersuggest to run your website through a testing tool to see if there's any broken links and things like that, if there's any missing H1s or if the hierarchy's off. Tools like that can help you learn that very quickly. And also getting real feedback from clients, colleagues. You're welcome to send it to me. I'd be happy to take a quick look at it and let you know if there's anything I see right off the bat that you could improve. And ultimately, even if you want a little more of a deep dive, I do offer website analysis, and I can give you a digital marketing workbook that can help you improve your online presence and your website as well. And I also offer website building services. So if you don't have one yet, or you're looking for a new site and you want help with that, that is also an option. And you can find much information here on the Work With Us page at massagebusinesshelp.com about that if it's something that you're interested in. I'm keeping this one short and sweet because I think it's a lot of information and it's a bit technical. I would love to answer any questions that you have about it. So please email me at massagebusinesscoach@gmail.com anytime if you have questions. And otherwise, I hope you found this helpful. I hope that it improves your online presence and your website. And I would love for you to share, like, and subscribe. It's a bit of work and energy that I enjoy doing, putting these together for you, but it would be really helpful to me to have a lot of people enjoying this content since I put so much effort and energy into it, and you liking, sharing, subscribing can help me with that, and I appreciate it. Also, if there's any way I can improve or feedback that you have or things you would like to see, please reach out anytime. I hope you all are having a great week, and I will be back with part 4 of this series very shortly, and I think our next topic is content. Alrighty. Thank you again. Bye-bye.